welcome back. Guys, I don't know who the heck I think I am right now. I got one of these clips. Don't ask me where I got it because it's like, I think it was like $17. It's like a clip, okay? Because I really love the ones that I see from insert name here, I think is the company. Sorry, I'm like looking at myself. Let me look in my own mirror. I'm so pretty. I like the ones from insert name here is the name of the company. Insert name here, I think, right? Chelsea Suarez, tell me if that's true. But they're expensive, as they should be, because it's like high quality hair. And I don't want to like spend the money on it yet if I wasn't sure I was going to like it. Plus, this was like kind of purchased for my Britney Spears thing that I'm doing. So I didn't want to like spend a ton of money. Okay, you get it. Anyhow, I was trying it on and I was like, oh, we're going to do today's video with this. The color doesn't quite match my dye job. So I put on a headband to mask it. And I think I look fab. Can we take a moment and just, hello. Oh, hi, boys. Who do I think I am right now? Okay, nobody. I'm a nobody. So today, but I want the ponytail higher. Sorry, my attention is not quite. There we go. Oh, I'm a genie in a bottle. Yes, master. You. Okay, my ADHD is like off the chain right now. So today's video is extra special. It comes with permission from the market partner, the MMM, who this entire thing revolves around. There is a drama unfolding in Monat. Shocker. And like, you know what? A couple people have been like, why do you focus so much on Monat? Honestly, because right now they're the bad guy. Like they're all bad guys, but they're the ones doing the most egregious stuff. And pretty soon we'll move on to another bad guy. But right now they're the bad guy that like needs to be called, like their behavior, their lack of accountability needs to be, attention needs to be drawn to it. Did I say welcome back to my channel? Did I even introduce who I am? Probably not. This is I Don't Want No Hunt. This is a crap show. This is a shit show of an episode, but I think you're going to enjoy it. I hope so. All right. So to give you a little bit of context, there is a managing market mentor. Her name is Angelique. I think she actually says Angelique. She is beautiful. She is gorgeous. She is somebody that I totally relate to and connect with. I think she's amazing. She experienced some pretty terrible things, and she took to social media to talk about it. The person that she is talking about, her real name, I'm not going to say, but her code name is Tina Tiny Branch. And if you need a moment to figure out who Tina Tiny Branch might be, take that moment. Did you get it? If not, you can message me or leave a comment. We'll figure it out. But I don't really want to say her name. I'm not going to blur her face though, because she is the tippy top of the Monat pyramid. And I'm not going to blur her face out. I'm also not blurring out Angelique's, because since she and I have started communicating through this, I asked her for explicit permission. And I said, I don't want to make this video because you and I have developed a acquaintanceship. Like we talk every couple days. I've been checking in on her. And the reason that I checked in on her is because we saw what was going to happen. And I shared a story that she posted, another story that she posted. And I blocked out her name, but I just was like, as a community, as an anti-MLM community, right now, the argument is not anti-MLM versus MLM. The argument is being a terrible person and not apologizing for it. So we're going to see that. So we're going to start with the video that Angelique posted and then was encouraged to, nudged to take down. I'm going to do my best to not interrupt her. I don't think there's much that I need to comment on. She and I are very similar in certain ways. You'll see what I mean. So let me introduce you to Angelique. Her, I don't think I have it on the screen here. I do not. Hold on. Is that it? Is that there? There it is. There she is. There's that beautiful lady. There she is. Okay. Angelique, her not Twitter. Oh my God. So you see what happens when it's just like a random Saturday afternoon and I decided to glam up? Do you see what happens? I'm not prepared. But Angelique's Instagram handle is French fries and fairy tales. I'm obsessed. All right, here we go.
So what I'm about to show you is kind of what has happened over the past couple days from my situation with a certain individual in the company that I'm in, and it's belittling, it's borderline bullying, because this is the third time that this has happened, and it is the last time that it is going to happen to me. And I'm sharing this because I want people to know that it's not okay for an upline, for a sideline, for anybody to try and demean you, to belittle you, to try and make you feel less than, or try to intimidate you. It's not okay. Just because somebody is a certain rank in a company, or because somebody has a certain amount of followers, that does not give anybody the right to treat you less than. And so this is kind of, I have every right to be in this business, and you have every right to be in your business. And I'll be damned if I'm going to not say something about what has happened. It's not okay. It's not right. The stories and the DMs that I've gotten of people with similar situations is literally insane. And all these thoughts and opinions are my own. I don't talk for anybody but myself. So I'm going to show you guys all of the receipts and kind of what has happened. So the first screenshot I'm going to show you is an example of this leadership chat that I earned to be in. I had the right ranks, I had the right PV, I had the right, all the stuff. You have to qualify to get into this. So I have to work my business in order to be able to get into this chat. So I'm going to show you screenshots of kind of what the requirements were, all that stuff to get into this chat. So as you can see, this is from one of the chats that I'm in. It's announcing, saying, you don't want to miss this. How will you gain access? You have to hit this rank. This is how you get in. So a lot of girls are pushing for this. Some of the people in this chat are really big names in the company, and, are quote unquote amazing leaders. So you want to be trained by them. You want to get into this chat. So it's offered as an incentive to obviously help everyone with their business, help them with their team, to get them motivated. That's what it's for, which I normally love stuff like this. I love being on calls and learning and all that stuff. So I earn my way into the chat. I get invited to the chat by my upline for qualifying. I get added into the chat. Very quickly, I notice that nobody in the chat can speak. The feature to talk is turned off, but you can leave emojis, which invited to the chat by my upline for qualifying. I get added into the chat. Very quickly, I notice that nobody in the chat can speak. The feature to talk is turned off, but you can leave emojis, which again is fine if it's just, I'm in chats where literally all they do is dump information in it. Like, here's a call, here's a flyer, don't forget. That's not what was going on inside this chat. The leaders were talking, and I'm not a ridiculous person. I get why there's chats where you're just sending out information when you have large teams. You don't want it to get all crazy. It can get hectic. I understand that. That's not what was going on inside this chat. Okay. Yes, there were things being just flyers and things, but there was conversations amongst the leaders, that's fine. You guys can talk, but why can nobody else speak? I thought that was very weird. It seemed very snooty and pretentious to me. And from the beginning, I had sent a message to my upline saying, why can nobody talk in this chat? This is weird. They agreed. That's a little bit weird. I've never had that happen. And then here's an example, okay, of a screenshot from the chat of them talking to each other, the people, and nobody else can talk. Again, this is just one example of a couple of the hosts of the chat speaking to one another. There was a video that was posted, and then nobody could even wish this other leader like a happy anniversary for being in the company because nobody can talk. All the emojis, that's the only type of communication that can be. So when they say, oh, it's just to dump information, that's not true. And this shows that. And again, I'm not a ridiculous, crazy person. Sometimes I am. So I asked again to other people, why are we not allowed to talk in this chat? That seems very pretentious. It seems very snotty and weird. Again, not by everybody in this chat, by the people who created it, okay? Because there's leaders.
So I'm going to pause for one moment to clarify that Angelique did say later, when we've spoken with her, that this particular chat had about 80 people in it. The other ones where it's just the information dump, that has like thousands of people, which is just like crazy. So absolutely, I would understand. I also think it's like strange that like you earn your way into chats, like talk about elitism, right? But it's only in comparison, and 80 people in a chat is a lot. I'm in like a 6-person chat and sometimes it gets a little crazy, but 80 people in a chat is significantly less than thousands. Okay.
Chat that I absolutely love and adore, and I know their hearts. And again, I'm not the only one, as you can see, who thought it was crazy. So then I get on to the next call that I earned. The first call was awesome. I learned a lot of nuggets. But one of the things that's funny about the first call that I was on is there were some things that were, I thought were a little bit rude. Like, for example, I was told, hey, if you're not taking notes right now on this call, you don't care about your team. To me, that's a rude comment. That's rude. Some people are driving. Some people got their kids being crazy. Some people's dogs are going nuts. Like, to say that if you're not...
To say that an unpaid call where you're not being paid to be there and you have to be taking notes, okay.
You know, you don't care about your team because it's a leadership training. You're learning stuff. That's why they said that. And I get the no excuses, like show up. I get that mentality. But to me, that was kind of rude. And keep that in mind that was said the first call, right? The comment that I said that was not rude, the question that I asked, that was considered rude. But so the next call happens on Tuesday. And get on the call, and I told my uplines beforehand, I said, hey, I'm going to ask about the whole commenting on the thing because I hate that I can't talk to people on there. I think it's weird. So I get on the call. The call's going great. And then I ask this question in the chat. This is the question that I asked word for word, okay? I screenshotted it. I sent it to myself.
Oh, no. How rude. Come on. This question, is it possible to turn on commenting in the leadership chat? I hate not being able to interact or ask a question. LOL. I see no problem with that.
Again, receipt. This is exactly what I asked. Okay? I asked a question about incentives. I said, hey, you guys are handing out the task list, like the daily, weekly tasks that they're creating for the leadership chat. Should we be incentivizing our girls to complete these tasks, to try to motivate them? Is that something that y'all are doing?
Tasks. Hold on.
Again, that's not word for...
One-on-one, keep team on task, help onboard 3-way calls. Host power hour, do Q&A. In-person event, meet up, tell team to invite. Host opportunity live, dual lives. It's just like a lot. Daily non-negotiables, what are those? Self-development, 5 new convos, action on... Daily non-negotiables. You can't give people non-negotiables when you're not paying them, okay? You just can't.
I literally didn't even think that would be offensive because I'm in, the chat. I messaged, everybody's asking. And again, they answered the question and that was it. So this is where it gets interesting. So I'm minding my business. I'm off the call. To be honest, I was going potty. And then I get a text message from one of the leaders in the chat. I blocked out her phone number out of courtesy. This is where the text thread begins. So again, I don't have this person's number saved. So this is the text message I received. I didn't know how to read your comment, but it did come off a little rude. We've opened a place to communicate with you and your team. So to put us on the spot like that on a Zoom was uncalled for. I don't tolerate disrespect in my organization or my life. If you have a problem with the way we are doing it, you're free to remove yourself. I said, who's this? And then thinking back, because this isn't the first time somebody has gotten upset that I've asked a simple question, I said I was genuinely asking a question and actually sent it to multiple people before I sent it in the chat to make sure it wasn't rude. And other people in the chat said, please ask, and no, it's not rude. I don't tolerate disrespect either, FYI, but I'm not a sheep who's going to be intimidated.
Okay, so I'm just going to pause for 1 second. Communication like this in any business is never appropriate. If they want to talk to a downline and employee about something that they felt was out of line, you can send a text or an email that says, hey, do you have a moment to chat? I want to just like sort something out. And then you get on a call or you have a meeting where you say, here are my concerns. This is completely unacceptable. And assuming that they have your number saved and not even identifying yourself. Cute.
Rude. Oh, no. Then I said, I would have asked in the chat, but everyone is silenced. So I ask a question on the call that I earned a place to be on, and I get a text like this about how I was being rude. She says, it's rude to ask the way you did in a public forum. And the incentive question was borderline too. You can ask questions, sure. You never asked one of us leaders who are volunteering our time in this way. I made this series. I do reserve the right to remove anyone I feel that I don't want to pour into as a leader. None of us, quote unquote, have to be doing this, just in case you weren't aware. I know exactly who I'm talking to, which is why I'm just being straight with you. So then I went on and said, I don't have your number saved, so I don't know who I'm talking to. I'm assuming it's the only person who gets upset when questioned, which again, because this is not the first time I have been, quote unquote, talk crap to because I asked a question. Someone just offered an incentive.
Major red flag when the people that you work with or for create huge issues around you asking a question.
To her team for completing a list of tasks. That's why I asked if the weekly daily checklist is something we should be incentivizing. How is that rude? I'm not afraid of anyone or being removed from a chat, so please take that somewhere else because it won't work here. You have had an issue with me for whatever reason for a while now. I get no one is allowed to question the great and powerful Oz, but you're not God. Don't have people earn their place into a chat and then say, but y'all can't talk to us leaders. But we are going to be talking to one another. LOL, it turns people off.
I really like this girl.
And then again, showing a receipt of this is a screenshot of the March challenge that was just released in our team. Okay. And I said, this is why I asked about incentives, because this incentive was just released. So then she says, people earned the training calls. The Telegram group was for convenience so people could get a subscription to our updates. No, right. Thought that would be fun. I can't read the rest.
A subscription to your updates? Come on. Just give it a minute.
Mocking people are like,
there we go.
I've heard enough from you. You're truly confused. The victim mentality and mocking people are likely why you're stuck in your business. And I was trying to...
Wait, sorry. Let's actually get in there.
She said, thought that would be fun for the people who aren't on our teams to hear from other leaders. But you're not welcome on the call I host or in my chat anymore. I've heard enough from you. You're truly confused. The victim mentality and mocking people are likely why you're stuck in your business. And I was trying to help. I have always wished the best for you and still do. So you still wish the best for me, but yet you're going to talk shit saying that I have a victim mentality and that that's why I'm likely stuck. You're saying I'm stuck in my business. So you're going to talk shit, but you're going to say that you've always wished the best for me. Again, piss on my leg and tell me that it's raining. Cool. So I said, the victim mentality, LOL, mocking people. Whoa, you know me so well. You're the most insecure woman I've ever met. And I stick by that. I'll be praying for you. The fact that someone can't ask a question on a training call without being threatened to be removed. Okay. Again, I'm not going to be treated like a peasant or a sheep and kiss your ring. It's actions like this as to why you have the reputation that you do and why I have an open team filled with your downline that I help daily. You're welcome, by the way. And you know nothing about my business, so your rude comments mean nothing. I am so blessed by my business and team and people who love working with me and actually grow working with me, not for me.
So let me pause for a second. I don't know if she talked about this. I later found out that she has a Facebook group called the 99 Team 99, and it is filled with people who are not on her downline, people who are in Monat whose uplines do not help them because they have huge downlines. So she takes in the group of misfit toys and she does training calls. And the best part or worst part, I don't really know how we look at this. I think it's selfless because they're not on her team. They don't benefit. She doesn't benefit at all from any sales that they make from her leadership, her coaching, whatever. So that doesn't line up with multi-level marketing values at all. In multi-level marketing, you don't do anything unless it directly influences your income and your rank. And Angelique is already demonstrating qualities that don't line up with that. And these other leaders don't like it. I wonder why. Especially because her helping the other leaders' downlines helps them get more money. And they don't like it? Why? Is it because it's making you look bad, Tina Tiny Branch?
This is somebody who represents this company. This is somebody who's a chairman award winner. This is somebody who, I don't want to say is the face because there's no real face to this company.
But she is.
But you mention her name and people know who she is. For whatever reason that is that they know who she is. I've been flooded with DMs of people who are experiencing the same type of thing by her, by other people, and it's not okay. And it's not okay that the company that I love allows this to happen. So I have a meeting scheduled with the higher ups in the company tomorrow because I intend to see this through. I'm tired of being attacked. I'm tired of being belittled. I'm tired of literally for what? What did I do wrong? Please tell me what I did wrong. I'm tired of being treated unfairly, and for what? For what reason? Okay, so that's the situation. That's where we're at. I refuse to be silent about being belittled, about having threatening text messages, about being removed from a chat. Like, no, absolutely not. I'm done. I'm sick of it. And I'm going to speak out whenever it happens because it's not fair and it's not right. And people need to know that just because somebody is a high up, because they have a big following, or whether it's real followers, fake followers, whatever the case may be, you matter. Your opinion matters. You are called for a reason to be a part of something, and you deserve a spot at the table. And you deserve to sit at a table and not be made fun of, threatened, talked down to, any of those things. So please continue to pray over the situation because I'm sure it's not easy. It takes a toll on a person. But I love you guys, and this is my truth, and this is. So the last clip got cut off, so I apologize. But again, this is my truth. This is my situation. Thoughts and opinions are my own. This is just the facts of what transpired within the last day, and I want to bring awareness to the toxic things that go on behind the scenes that maybe people don't know about, or they're afraid to speak out about. You should absolutely speak out about, because people like this need to be dealt with.
Okay, so we all saw this. We were like, holy crap, this is craziness. Like, everybody in the anti-MLM community was talking about it. Okay, like, let's be perfectly clear. We were all talking about this because we know Christina Tiny Branch. Like, we know what she, like, she's just, you know, the people in Monat. Hold on, sorry, I'm looking for another picture for some evidence of foul play. Here it is. Okay. So I don't know exactly the timing of everything that I'm about to show you, but what I can tell you is that Angelique did indeed have a meeting with corporate. That meeting was with Ryan Anderson. Do you remember Ryan Anderson? Hold on. Let me pull up his face if I can even find, where did I have that file? Ryan Anderson. This guy is Ryan Anderson. Okay. So she had a phone call with him or Zoom, or I don't know. I don't remember. At some point, I don't remember if this was before or after this video went up, but Christina, oh, whoops, it's my fault. Tina Tiny Branch posted this. Came home to the sweetest surprise for having a rough couple of days. Thank you, Monet. Now that I actually say that out loud, I feel like it happened after she put out her own response. So what happened in the phone call, according to Angelique, was that Ryan was like, hey, let's like get to know each other. Like, tell me a little bit about your story and then tell me what happened. Now, Angelique has also told me that there is a history here of Tina Tiny Branch behaving this way, of acting completely irrationally, getting offended by questions, and just being a downright mean girl, like with no actual like reasoning. There's no justification for it ever. And she's just acting like a mean girl. So Angelique has also been trying to get in touch with Monet and be like, hey, your Monet gear that I want to wear doesn't fit plus size bodies. And they've basically like just brushed her under the rug. Then Ryan made the suggestion of, well, we'll reimburse you for all of that Monet gear. And Angelique was like, wow, cool. Except what about all the other people who paid for Monet gear that they can't wear? So then at some point, Ryan said, well, let me call Tina. Let's talk to her. Would you be up for a little intervention? Angelique said, sure. Ryan calls back and says, Tina's really upset and she's not up for a phone call. I'm sorry. She shouldn't get to have the choice. It should be, you did a thing. You are creating tension. This tension has now gone public. We're getting on a call. But no, Tina was being really, she was feeling attacked and really emotional. So through Ryan talking to Angelique about, the Monet gear and getting on a call with Lou and doing all these things, it was heavily implied that she should take her video that we just watched down. So she did. And then Tina Tiny Branch did this.
Okay, guys, I gotta say something. I was in Target and I had one of my clients text me, and a previous client from like a decade ago, and she's like, I just saw this on the Facebook group, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, I can't handle lies anymore. I am someone that I train my team, and that's what I coach against. Like, do not entertain negativity, and just keep your eyes like laser focused on the positive. This is something I literally say probably on a weekly basis. If you're my follower, like, that's like, I'm all about it. I have a
So already we're starting off with toxic positivity. Don't focus on the negative. Just stay positive. We have learned if you are trying to grow as a person, if you are trying to evolve and become a better person, we have learned that when you don't allow the negative things to just transpire and sit in them and deal with them, it all bottles up and it's not good. This is toxic positivity.
Podcast about it, like that's my thing. And there's a situation with a gal in another organization, and she is like saying all.
So from what I understand, Tina is not Angelique's upline. She's like a sideline. She's the downline to Tina's sideline. Whatever. It's all stupid.
The things about me. She's got people coming over to my inbox saying the meanest of things, like, you can't have kids, this is why you can't have kids. Like,
I just don't believe that. I really don't believe that. I don't know. And if somebody is saying those awful things to Tina, like, obviously I do not support that. I just don't believe you.
Like, these are her people, what they're saying to me. Because they're under this like false pretense that I have done something that I have merely truly not done. So let me just kind of clear the air as quick as I can, because I hate giving this kind of stuff like attention.
But here she is.
My last message from this gal is her asking me to train her team and do a training for her. And I always feel bad when someone asks me to do a training or a coaching call or a podcast or an interview or like anything.
Okay, so she sent me the receipts. She did not ask her. Those two things are separate events. Okay. So she asked her. This is the first one about her asking her, like, hey, can you maybe do a training? I'm not sure. MMA's volume. She has a 17,000 a couple month, whatever. Okay, I'm not sure I fully understand all of the stuff that's in here, but she sent this message. I have a huge favor to ask. I know this was December 20th. I know you're super busy, so it's okay if you're not available, but I was wondering if you had a Monday training in January to do a free training. She also sent it the same thing to Tina, the same message. Okay, and then February 19th, she said, why the ghosting? Because she literally didn't answer her. So these are two separate situations that Tina is now trying to pull into one, okay?
And I can't do it because I already feel like I don't have time to do everything that I want to do with like the people that actually joined with me and like do Monat with me, right? I already feel like that. And so, granted, I give every single day to doing it, but I still at the end of the day feel like, okay, what more could I have done? It's just something that like, I'm wired that way. I feel like that about my mom life. I don't know if you can relate to that. I know a lot of moms feel mom guilt. And so that's how I feel already. So bearing that in mind and like partnering with my friends, I knew that this gal would benefit and that her team would get to be a part of it. And so I'm like, yeah, so we teamed up, again, not my organization. We teamed up for this like collaborative training series.
So that's the end of part one. Let me get to part two. So just to see that we're clear, she is changing the narrative. Changing the narrative. According to Angelique, who I believe she earned her way into this call and these trainings. Now, whether they're deciding to do these trainings, whatever, this had nothing, what she is talking about had nothing to do with the event that transpired here, okay? Totally different things. She's talking about a group chat that she earned her way into. Tina is trying to completely deflect and bring up a separate situation and make them all connect. Isn't that fun?
We teamed up, again, not my organization. We teamed up for this like collaborative training series. And I was so excited. I made the graphics, I made the Zoom links. I poured all my time into it. And
Did you make graphics and Zoom links, Tina? Oh my gosh, that must have taken you so much time. When I make graphics, it takes me 5 minutes. And when I make Zoom links, it takes me 2.
So excited to do that. It was like such a positive thing. And, and I was like, you know what? I know these gals earned at like a coaching call series, which was 4 for the month of March, or 5 for the month of March. We were going to do 4, and then I'm like, well, let's just do, 5. So we were going to do 5 for the month of March.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, you know what? Let's make it even one step better. Let's throw everyone in a chat or like a group where we can drop like, these are like well thought out, like the best that we have, like tips every single day, just pouring in to each other's teams and like feeling like they were our own. And so that's what we did. We poured into each other's teams, and my team was loving it. My girls were like, this is amazing. Some of the other girls on the other team were like, this is amazing. And not everyone felt like that. And it wasn't until the second Zoom call that the comments started coming out. And I'm someone, Q&A, I'm all about it.
No, you're not.
I love it. My team knows. I usually take Q&A at the end of a training call. I literally welcome it. And so there was one gal who was asking the same question, and then he friendly responded to it. And it wasn't the question that was alarming. It was the reaction to it. It read very disrespectful. I actually received a handful of comments about it. And after that, the other leaders and I got off the call and were just like, ooh, that was a little like, wow, like, oh my gosh, like one.
So to hear Angelique tell the story, because I also spoke to her about this, apparently on the Zoom call, her face was closer to here. I guess she had it so she was like more like this. And when they gave the answer, which I guess the answer was, it would be too overwhelming, too many people, she went, or something with her eyes. Okay. Are you so fragile that someone maybe just like lightly rolling their eyes a little bit? Is that what you're saying is the problem? Okay.
Comment come in. Actually, I saw 2 people texting me that they were cringing. And
cringing about what? The comment? Like, we don't even know that there was another comment. According to everything that we've received, as if I'm like we're some sort of, like, give me all the, whatever. she asked a question, you gave her an answer. And then that was it. And all of a sudden she got these texts from you.
We are devoting our time to a leadership training. Now everyone's distracted and talking about this person that commented. Who is that? Why is she on here? Like, and I don't like any of that. I don't like when everyone's distracted on something negative. It's just, it like pains me. And
it's because it makes you look bad. It makes you look like you don't know how to control a situation, because you don't know how to control a situation, especially when it's not even a situation. This didn't have to become a thing. All you had to do is answer the question. And if people were like, why is she asking that? You could have shut it down. You could have easily said, she had a question, I answered it. There's nothing to discuss. You continued, if you're claiming that people were messaging you about it, you continued to perpetuate the negativity by not acknowledging it. When you don't acknowledge negative situations, which again, this was not one. I can't see anything that points to this being a negative situation. When you don't acknowledge the negative situation and just say, this is how I'm handling it. If you have any other problems, you know, this is how you can find me. But you don't want anyone to question you at all. You don't want any questions, period. And you don't know how to lead. You don't know how to be a leader.
Here we are doing something good and something bad is happening. Like what? And then...
This was not something bad. You made this be something bad. You twit.
I was like, you know what? I'm not the type of person that's just going to sit and like talk about it with people. I'm going to go to this individual since I have somewhat of a rapport. I know her style. And I just said, look, it's not cool. That was rude and uncalled for, and I'm not going to tolerate it. Like, if you don't like the way we're doing it, you can remove yourself. And she didn't like...
Is that the end of that one? All right, let's move on to part 3. It's in 5 parts, like 2.5 minutes each, so just sit tight.
She didn't like that the chat that we added her into was not an open chat where like... And let me tell you, I had so many girls like added into this thing, and you guys know if you're in the business, like, you know, a chat, when you leave it and you come back and there's like so many questions, it's overwhelming to catch up. So this wasn't a chat, this was a drop, you know, and I had girls already.
Which it did not seem to be clear to Angelique that that's what this was supposed to be. But again, Angelique showed receipts of how the leaders were talking to each other. You're just letting everybody observe. Okay? So now you're trying to be like, oh, it's overwhelming if you have everybody talking. And even if that's the answer, then just give the answer. Why did you have to turn it into this? That's rude. Don't question why I do things. This was not inappropriate, Tina. And you made it. This all happened because of you. I hope you understand that.
Overwhelmed as it was with this training series. And so I couldn't even imagine if it was open, all the questions and the chatter and all that kind of stuff. Like,
sure. Across 80 people, yeah, that would be overwhelming. I get that. But then present the group as such. Say, this is a group with just the leaders. Here, we will be able to speak to each other, but we've turned it off for these people. Here is why. And if you would like to say something, you know, you can message one of the leaders and we'll speak for. There are ways you can get around that and be a good leader without looking like a garbage human being.
Really, the incentive wasn't for a chat. The incentive was for the calls. And now,
but that's not how you presented it, because that's not how it came across to Angelique or anyone else that got into the call or into the chat. Okay, do you understand? If you don't present information in the way that you intend for it to be understood, when your underlings express that to you, it is your job to look inward and go, okay, how did I not appropriately express this? Let me make sure I express it. It is a sign of a good leader when you're able to admit that you've made mistakes, that you did not communicate well. That's the sign of a good leader. You, however, are not a good leader.
Calls are being ruined by this person. So I went straight to her and I said that. And I'm assertive. When you have a team the size that I do and been doing this as long as I have, you learn to be assertive and have boundaries. I openly talk about that.
See, and this is when people like her say those things, it's really frustrating because it makes the people who are assertive with boundaries, it lumps us all in together. Women like her are using actual bullying and actual mean girl tactics and actual cult tactics and disguising it as boundaries and being assertive. And this is not a boundary. This is not being assertive. This is her being a wimp.
About therapy, I talk about my sobriety and just the fact that I have this backbone now, and so I exercise.
Oh boy. And again, business is not an appropriate place to talk about sobriety or whatever else she said that she talks about.
That when you have a team the size that I do and been doing this as long as I have, you learn to be assertive and have boundaries. I openly talk about that. I talk about therapy. I talk about my sobriety and just the fact that I have this backbone now, and so I exercised that. And she came back at me with just I would say an immature response, just like talking, personally attacking me, mocking me, saying that, I think I'm God or something. Like, just she asked a question, which was kind of gaslighty, right? Because it wasn't just the question, it was the way you reacted after the question that was rude, and everyone was talking about it. So now I have a team that I need to lead back in the direction, and you're a distraction.
Do you see this like crazy, the way you reacted to my answer? And she has the nerve to talk about being gaslighty. I didn't like the way that you reacted to my BS answer. Come on. Like okay, let me let her finish.
And then she just kept, chiming at me. And originally when she had asked me to help her train her team, she mentioned that, we got in a conversation because I wanted to help her. And I said, well, how close is this person to this and blah, blah, blah. And so she was stuck. And I'm like, in my opinion, this behavior could be why you're stuck. That's why. And
this behavior, this asking questions, there is no level of respect that I have for this woman right here. None. She does not get any of my respect. This behavior is a joke. And for her at the beginning of this video to make the comment that people are saying about this is why you can't have kids, her and Angelique had bonded earlier in their experience together, whatever, over Angelique's infertility issues. I guess Tina has had some infertility issues. I hope, and I guess she does now have children. I think one is her biological and she's adopted 2 more, whatever. I don't believe that anyone said this to her, but the fact of the matter is that she is using textbook gaslighting and manipulation techniques here to get people to make it seem like she's getting out of this squeaky clean, like she was some saint. I was trying to help her. No way, not on my watch.
Something I would say to my own team member, because again, it's like being nice to people. In my opinion, this behavior could be why you're stuck. That's why. And that's something I would say to my own team member, because again, it's like being nice to people. I'm a kind person, but
I don't think so.
I feel like when people tell you the truth is the only way you're going to grow. And the biggest change in my life has happened as a result of someone telling me a harsh truth. And I'm so grateful for that. So basically that was it.
Hey Tina, here's a harsh truth. You ready? The harsh truth is that you feel threatened when somebody asks a question that you decide that they are not at a level of appropriateness to ask that question. You decided that you are the great and powerful Oz, that you can decide and make rules and nobody's allowed to question you. And if they do, and they don't say, oh, thank you so much for your answer, I appreciate you so much, namaste, God bless you, thank you, then you feel threatened. You are not a nice person. Maybe once you were, but being in Monat, a very toxic environment, and in multi-level marketing that is corrupt at its core, you are not a nice person. Allegedly. In my opinion, I believe that in my opinion, you were allegedly not a nice person.
And I said, okay, well, now you've crossed the line and you're out. And I removed her from the group. And I blocked her on social media because I figured she might be the kind of person to take it to social media but I never thought she would take it to the lengths that she did. Videos, hashtag that I'm a bully, mommy bully, like all, like whoa. It so just didn't warrant that. Like you would have thought, like
You're right, Tina. None of this warranted any of it because you overreacted to a simple question. So none of this needed to happen, but you're just so fragile. Your backbone is not as strong as you like to think that it is.
Personally insulted her family or something. I literally was just like, I'm not going to tolerate this behavior in my chat. If you don't like it, you can leave. And somehow that warrants this reaction. So I am super grateful of all the actions that took place. The videos are down as a result of it, which is amazing.
Right, because the videos were taken down because you, according to Ryan Anderson, had agreed on a truce. That neither of you were going to talk about it. And then you did this. And then you posted this.
Was my only prayer not because I am worried that it was like all these untruths. Like I wasn't worried about that in the beginning. So I'm like, people talk. Like if I don't give attention to that. There's a lot of hate about me out there. A lot of people don't love that I do an MLM. You know, like I'm not. It doesn't ruin my day. But it was distracting to our teams. It was distracting to the company. It kind of became like a scandal situation.
Oh,
like,
it's still going.
I feel about like the tabloids and everything, but I just ultimately, I truly wish her well.
No, you don't.
I said I would unblock her if the videos came down, and that happened. Like I'm a woman of my word. And so now
You think she cares about being unblocked? You think she cares about that? Nobody cares about whether or not you unblock them on Instagram. What we care about, and I'm going to say we because I am definitely taking her side on this because I think you're not a nice person, is that it had been handled between Angelique, Ryan, and you, Tina. And Angelique was under the impression that it was done. And then you posted this video flat out talking about it. And making things up and pulling stories together that do not connect. So, no.
Feel the need to like share myself. I've just never had anything like this happen. And I just sat back for a couple days and really just kind of watched what was happening. And now we're moving forward. So if you do see anything about me out there, that's my side of the story. It's really not that exciting. I mean, I feel like
it's especially not exciting because you made up a lot of it and changed a lot of it and made yourself to be the victim when you were the aggressor. You were the aggressor in this situation. I don't know if that's perfectly clear to you. Well, actually, I do know. You don't understand that at all.
How big and dramatic it's gotten. You might think like there's more to it, but ultimately, that's it. All right. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm gonna get to my Friday night and enjoy some, I don't know, pizza.
Then she says this, I want to add some facts. She called me a bully because comments were disabled in a Telegram group. That's not why she called you a bully. Then cyber bullied me and disabled the comments on her lives and reels. She took down the comments because Ryan said, she turned off the comments because Ryan said, the issue isn't so much the video, it's what's going on in the comments. She was like, fine, I'll take the comments off. And Ryan goes, you had the president of Monat commenting on your posts. Do I have those receipts? I think I have those receipts too. Guys, it is not appropriate for the president of any company to be engaging in women's online battles at all. It is not even close to appropriate. And they were making it like, look how lucky you are. You're so lucky that you had the president of Monat. And we all know that Stuart loves to be online. He loves it. Did I save it? I know that I did somewhere because I sent it to somebody. Oh no, do I not have it? Oh, Phooey McPhooey. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Here we go. All right. So this company absolutely does not love you. Now, at this point, when we all first watched Angelique's first video, we were just like, all right, she loves the company. She's trying to like salvage what she has with Monet. But I had put in my stories, this is not about anti-MLM or MLM. This is about a girl who is being treated poorly and a company that's not going to do anything for her. So this person says, they love the money that you bring in. You know how at McMillan Stewart always says, be the light, which is a Bible verse, and he comes off as this amazing Christian. Did you know that before he joined Monet, he was part of a Ponzi scheme that took millions of dollars from innocent and unsuspecting people? These people did not get their money back, but guess who got to keep his cut? That's right, Stewart. And God sees everything, and your judgment day will come soon enough. When you're buried 6 feet underground, you can take all your money and toys with you. Can't take all your money and toys with you. I mean, this beautiful person like ripped into him. And good old Mackie said, I would encourage you to not believe everything you read on the internet. If you want to PM me, I would be happy to explain to you what my court-approved role was in trying to reestablish an opportunity for the organization to get money back to people. Stewart, you were a puppet. The court document is out there. I'll actually, if I remember, I'll link it in the comments. It's a public document. You did not try to get anyone's money back. You tried to get your money back. You were a puppet in what was going to be a failing company. That was a Ponzi scheme. You signed on knowing this. Let's see. If you want to verify, my involvement was at the very end of a very sad and awful tale to try to salvage something out of the business for those who had lost so much. You did jack squat. You knew nothing of what anyone was trying to do, according to the court documents. As I said, you could not believe everything you read on the internet. Exactly, Stuart. Like, we can't believe what you are writing on the internet because it's not true, because you're a flat out liar. When we do, we often get things wrong and end up hurting other people and our own credibility. For the record, I care very much for Angelique and all our market partners. No, you don't. You don't care for your market partners at all. Otherwise, you would have helped that poor girl who was in the hospital by giving her any kind of money to help her with her entire situation. You would not be bullying people on the internet. For you to say otherwise based on something you read, not from actually knowing me. Reading the court document is pretty truthful. Sadly says more about you than it does about me or Angelique. I hope you can be a light, not a critic, and I look forward to your private message. Ugh, God, he is so gross. Ray of Beauty says, there's no need for private message. Have a blessed day. You all let Mandy Evans get away with racist posts on Instagram. That says enough to me. I mean, we know how Stewart is. We know that he let her get away with that. He let Frangela Whitner get away with saying that the pandemic was worse than the Holocaust. And they made it up. Like, it was some like, oh my gosh, you had the president commenting. So she turned off the comments per Ryan's request. When did she cyberbully you, Christina? You don't get to play the victim here. You are making this into a bigger thing than it should have been, okay? So she, within minutes though, took that whole thing down. Luckily, people are great, and they saved it. She posted these pictures, came home to the sweetest surprise for having a rough couple of days. Thank you, Monet. So Angelique called Ryan, was like, what is this? Like, you said that this was all done. And then she posted those stories talking about me, and you sent her flowers. He was like, well, I sent her those flowers before she even posted those stories, but she took the stories down. So to clear the air, Monet did not send her flowers. Ryan Anderson sent her flowers. Oh, that makes it better. It doesn't make it better at all. And then she posted another thing, I don't think I have it, where someone else from Monet supposedly sent her flowers. People are just sending Tina flowers because she's had such a rough couple of days. You know what I can't wrap my head around here is that a market partner at Monet went to corporate, went and complained and said, I had a negative situation. And they turned it all around to make the aggressor the victim. Sent her, I'm so sorry that you had a rough day. Well, it's no surprise that me and Angelique have been communicating and have been talking, because one of the things she asked me, she said, this is my first MLM. She said, she is, and guys, she's an MMM. She's a managing market mentor. She's literally right below the associate or the executive director. She's not like just, at the very bottom of the pyramid. She's like doing the best she can. But she told me flat out, she has had some months where her check on the 15th has been $10,000. And this month it was like $900. And that's why she had to have a live sale to get rid of her excessive stock. She said sometimes her Friday paycheck is for $100, $20. She's had some paychecks be worth 50 cents. But it's that 15th of the month, that bonus check. That's where she's been getting a bunch of her money. And she's like, I only got like $900 this month. She also is in the motor club, but her husband was very smart and was like, you're not going to get a car that you're not going to be a slave to Monat. You're not going to get a car that you can't afford. So she has not hit the rank. She is not getting her car bonus check this month, but she can still afford her car payment. So she was smart about it. On top of the fact that she gives of her time freely to people who have no effect on her bonus check at all. It's no surprise that when I reached out, we would connect and she would see the empathy and the compassion that our side of this movement has, that we understand. And she said to me, she said, I have some questions. Can I ask you a question? I said, absolutely. So she told me the whole story. She told me everything. She's told me all the stories that went before this particular situation. Tina apparently, and I'm just going to put this into like a little teeny nugget, thought that Angelique had joined Monat under someone else and got mad at her for it. And Angelique was like, I didn't even sign up yet. Why are you mad? She did end up signing up under someone else, but Christina got mad at her for it. Tina, sorry. So Angelique said to me, she goes, this is my first MLM. Are they all this way? I said, unfortunately, yeah, pretty much. I said, now, some might not be quite as harsh, and maybe some of these particular situations that you're in right now are not as drastically dramatic. But at the end of the day, if you have a complaint, a concern, the company doesn't have to do anything to help you. They don't have to care about you. I said, your bonus check on the 15th is dwindling because the people below you cannot sustain this business. It's not a sustainable business. I said, so this behavior that you are experiencing right now, I mean, there are people across all MLMs that have stories that are almost identical to this. So unfortunately, I said, whether you jump from this MLM to another one, I said, I'll support you and back you up on how you've been treated and like your right to not be treated this way. I said, I hope you don't go to another MLM. I said, but you're not going to find a much different situation there either. We see this happening all the time in MLMs. We see these top leaders who, God forbid, you question them. And we are seeing Monat completely hemorrhage market partners, money, people that when one bad thing happens, they are scrambling. I said it in my video on the director's call. I absolutely anticipate 100% that Monat is going to get shut down in the next year or two. I really do. And when they shut down, there will be no severance packages. There won't even be a Zoom call to say goodbye. Stuart's just going to up and leave, cut his losses, and go move on to the next scam. So if more develops in the Angelique and Tina Tiny Branch drama, I'm certain that I will make a video to fill you all in. But Angelique is also going to keep making a video. She has a podcast, a really great podcast called Curvy Conversations, where she talks not so much about the details of the situation, but her reaction to it and how she dealt with the whole thing. I highly recommend that you listen to her podcast. Give her the support that she deserves, because we are seeing in real time a very Trump-like behavior from Monat once again. And the anti-MLM community is here to support her. Whether she stays in Monat, which we told her we really believe that a termination letter is coming soon, if it hasn't already, by the time I put this video out. But we are here to support her. Do we want her to go into another MLM? No. But if she makes that decision, then she makes that decision. But we are here not to be like, well, told you so, MLMs suck. That's not why we're here. We're here to be like, yeah, this is a common occurrence. So let's talk about what we think you can do to deal with it or to combat it or whatever. And if you just need people to listen because we understand, we'll listen, because we have no skin in the game. We don't have to risk being fired ourselves. by listening to you. So that being said, please keep your eyes peeled for another video if another update is necessary. And remember, especially when we deal with teeny tiny branches, through kindness, education, empathy, and patience, we can create a lasting movement. I hope you all have a great day, keep calm, and remember, please don't join us.